Hello, everyone. My name is Ira Faye, and I'm excited to share this game with you from the 2024 World Tournament. This is round two, my second game against Lucky Ruds. In our first game, they played as free people, and we decided on using two action tokens, so we're using two action tokens again. Let's jump into the game. I'm playing free people. And I'm very happy to see Scouts as an early card that will let me move a regular into Old Forest Road and defend Woodland Realm. And I'm also happy to see a playable character card in case I roll some Palantirs. And Shadow did not get a great start with only one muster. So not ideal start for Shadow. They do have two playable cards, Orcs Multiplying Again and Shelob's Lair, so that is actually nice. I suspect they'll draw one and then play two. And Orcs Multiplying Again is a very good starting card. It can give you a lot of power in Dol Guldur to go straight up north to Woodland Realm or to come over to Lorien. So we'll see what they do. I start by passing and they draw. That's the right choice. If you know that you're not going to be able to play enough cards equal to your Palantirs, then you might as well draw with your excess Palantirs to see what you get and then choose to play the cards that are best. I pass again. They play Shelob's Lair. They're giving me the least amount of information about what's going to happen militarily in Dol Guldur. And I start by moving, of course, and they miss, which is fair. They muster Sauron to war. So this gives me a little hint, right? I'm like, okay, something's up. Sauron's going to war first. And they miss. And now Orcs Multiplying Again. I muster the north towards war. Okay, so I can get the north to war pretty fast. Especially because I have my my army, my political action muster token. And I decide, after all, to do the elves. Yeah, I think when in doubt, do the elves. So, yeah, I guess that's interesting. I don't know exactly what's best. And I said that as much last time. I still don't know what's best. What would you do in this situation? Looking at this situation, Shadow has played Orcs Multiplying Again. You have a muster die, a army muster, and you have a muster token. What would you do with your muster? Do you muster the elves down? Do you muster the north? Someone else? Gondor? I like the elves, and I also like the north. Okay, so they do come north, and then I get my northern regular in the way, and then they attack. Whoa, okay. Chat is messed up. Okay, so then they attack into Old Forest Road. I do have the opening scouts. And now imagine if I had mustered once already the north. Now they'd be one away, and then I could use my token to get them at war. Yeah. So not perfect. All right, they get Pits of Mordor, which is obviously good, and again only one muster. So this is they've been rolling a lot of Palantirs. The one benefit is that I cannot get Gandalf if they wait to get their minion. So I think they're planning on getting the Witch King. I'm passing here because I only rolled one muster. They do Flocks of Crebain, which is interesting. I don't usually see that. Maybe I should have moved, knowing that I was going to move. I play Guards of the Citadel. Yeah, this is good because I have Gandalf as guide. I decide to cycle strategy cards more at higher priority than character cards, but I'm happy to see the Palantir. Oh my gosh, redrawing into Thranduil's Archer. So I've definitely been getting lucky with my card draw, starting with Scouts and then getting to Thranduil's Archers this fast is quite lucky. So they attack into Dale, which is nice because if I had redrawn King Bran's men, that seems good to get rid of it. I don't have Scouts, so we'll see. They play, wow. So they're playing I feel like I might have been tempted to wait on Day Without Dawn here, just because the threat of it existing is pretty significant. They take one hit, they get no hits. Oh, that is so sad. Crazy luck. Okay, and I get a 6 against them, and then they press. All right, so now Do is just looking like not that great for them. They are going to have a nice army coming in to meet up, but I have managed to put up a substantial defense. They do get the Witch King. I'm mustering Carrick now while I have the chance, and they attack from Old Forest Road. They do get 2 hits there. I get 1 hit back. So, yeah, maybe a little bit of a waste of a die on my part, but it did whittle them down. It did waste an attack, so slowed them down some. I go ahead and move. They use Flocks of Crebain, and it hits. Wow. Well done, Flocks of Crebain. 2. All right, so Gandalf is obviously going. And now they draw a strategy card. And now, as free people, do you use your token to delay Gandalf? To delay their minions. So they're about to get the Witch King. If I use the token, then they may not get the Witch King, but then I also won't get Gandalf next round, and I will have used up my last token. So I think, do I have something useful to do with this die? I think I may... I don't know what I do with this. Okay, so I end up drawing a card. I'm willing to delay the Witch King in exchange for delaying Gandalf. They get Isengard to war. Perfectly useful result for them. And then I move the Fellowship again. Also perfectly good thing for me to do. They hit me. They do reveal me. I go through Moria and they draw an eye. So, yeah, the hunt results in this game compared to the game that I played against them as Shadow, really quite different. Of course, no turn to Gandalf, but also Shadow is missing minions. So they allocate an eye. Oh my gosh, what insanity. They didn't even roll a single muster. This game is insane. All right, so I get a beautiful roll. Look at this. Just really good. I have Dead Men of Dunharrow. I could separate Strider to fold or anywhere in here. Dead Men of Dunharrow, crown him in Pelargir. I get my 5th die before Shadow has Saruman or the Witch King on turn 3. Holy cow. And the thing is, their military is just not going that fast. They didn't even roll army movements. So to get these units from Eagle's Eyrie into Old Forest Road will be a pain in the neck. I can't believe this. Wow. All right, so I hide with Strider's ability first. That seems nice. I don't even know that if I'm doing the Separate Strider plan, like maybe it's fine. I do feel like if it's turn 3 and you're spending, not that many dice to do it and you're reinforcing Gondor in a good way, like it's probably fine. I need to slightly worry about playing Thranduil's archers before this army moves in, but I think I'm fine. All right, so they're coming towards Gondor. I do the separate plan. I bring Boromir. They move armies in. I play Dead Men of Dunharrow. They attack. Okay, they move from... What just happened? From Morannon into Gorgoroth. Okay. And then I get Aragorn. So they shifted their focus to Gondor right when I was bringing my companions to Gondor. So I think that's nice. They play Stormcrow here on Gondor because I do have companions. They're very nice. I get rid of a leader in Minas Tirith. That seems fine. because hit points are good. And then I just draw Athelos. Oh, I have Faramir's Rangers too. Wow. Wow. All right, and another Scouts. Wow, what do you get rid of in this? Look at what I have here. Just a handful of awesomeness. I think I get rid of Elven Cloaks. I did not move the Fellowship that turn, but I invested in my future and got some companions on the map, got some units into Gondor, and also got my 5th action die. So I think I get rid of Elven Cloaks. Yeah. It's good, obviously, but the bigger the hunt pool, the less good it is. And it's not that big of a corruption difference. The -2 is really worth it. Like, that's a great tile. The 0, good, but not crazy. So only 2 gray tiles have been gotten pulled out so far. So, all right. Let's see what I get. Wow. So, yep. I guess I'm just going to run with the Fellowship. They miss. They muster Nazgul. Okay. I'm just moving while they don't have rerolls on me. They miss again. And then they play Nazgul Strike. Okay. So Nazgul have struck. Very likely to hit me. Miss. Oh my God. Oh no. Oh my gosh. This is just insane luck. It turns out I'm not good at War of the Ring. I'm just very lucky at War of the Ring. Or Lucky Ruds is just not lucky. I mean, holy cow. I guess I don't feel like I've had insane luck. I've had reasonable luck. It's just that Lucky Ruds has had horrible luck. Like really bad action dice rolls, and then this sort of stuff happening. Just insane. Okay. So armies are moving around now. I pass at this point because now there's no real rush to move any faster. And that gives me options about maybe I need to run away with Aragorn. And I want to just see what happens. So army moves from North Ithilien into Dead Marshes. And interestingly, I really do want to play Faramir's Rangers, but because of my role, I had to not play it because I'm saving this Will of the West to be able to get Gandalf. So, and I would anticipate that Shadow will use 2 musters to get 2 minions to let me get Gandalf, because delaying 1 minion for delaying Gandalf is often a good deal for Shadow, but delaying 2 minions for Gandalf is probably not a good deal for Shadow. So we'll see what happens. I go ahead and play File now because I just don't think I'm in a huge rush. Like I do want to keep making progress with the Fellowship, but also I need to play cards out of my hand, and I'm just not in that big of a rush because I have decent military situation. All right, they do get Saruman. I do get Gandalf. They get the Witch King. I confirm if I can use Boromir's ability in Pelargir, and I don't think I can. Oh, City or Stronghold. Great, so I can. So I muster Gondor towards war because Pelargir is a city, and I have Boromir there. So I just don't feel like I need to move the Fellowship again right now. I don't want to risk getting hunted that much. If you take companions out of the Fellowship like I did to get Aragorn and Boromir, I want to shift the game towards a slower game so that I get longer benefit from my dice, and so that I have time to build up my military because I invested in my military. So getting Gondor to war is going to be an important strategy. Now, what is this army doing in Western Emyn I don't often see this trajectory from North Ithilien Dead March's Western Emyn, but realistically, they're 1, 2, 3 spaces away from Lorien, and they're 1, 2, 3 spaces away from Helm's Deep. So if they move to Eastamnet, they're then 2 spaces away from both of those locations, and I'm not going to know which I need to defend. So that's pretty cool. Am I going to declare the fellowship? Oh my gosh, I drew Celeborn. Holy cow, look at these cards. Like, I'm just getting great cards. Are they coming to Rohan? Should I save Ents? I feel slightly tempted to get rid of Ents here, but I guess we'll see. All right, so I got rid of Faramir's Rangers. I guess my thinking is they don't seem to be going after Gondor right now. I have enough defense in Gondor, so I guess that's what I chose to get rid of. I do like the shield wall effect. That's a good combat effect. Oh, and they roll three eyes, four total. And so in situations like this, I have 6 dice to their 5. I don't need to rush with the fellowship. I just want to start building up my military. So I'm going to move once. That's fine. They do hit me. That's very fair. They get 1 reveal. And then do I take 1 corruption? Yes, I just take 1 corruption. That's fine. I have Athelas that might heal me. And they have no character dice or Palantir dice. So even if they had something to hurt me, which they don't, but if they did have something to hurt the Fellowship, they couldn't even do it. All right. What are they doing? They are moving armies. They move, okay, from Farharad to Nirharad, and then exactly as predicted, Western Emmenwheel to East Emnet. So now I only have 2 musters, so I can't even get the elves to war that well. The issue for Shadow is I happen to draw into Celeborn's Galadrim. So I decide to move to West Emnet because I don't want them walking into Helm's Deep for free. So my thinking is if they attack into West Emnet, I will have scouts, and if they completely empty out Orthanc, I have Ents. So I'm doing okay here. They decide to move on. Way to go, bold people from Edoras, Theoden maybe, scaring off all these orcs. They went on to the elves instead. Good job. All right, I hide the Fellowship. Because I don't have Strider as guide, I do need a good number of character dice to make progress with the Fellowship if I'm getting revealed. So I do need to make sure I'm moving and then hiding each round, once per round. Maybe more, but I don't think I'm in that big of a rush. We'll see. All right. I do go ahead and play Celeborn's. Bad luck for them. And then I drew into Círdan's ships. That protects me into Dol Amroth, which is nice. They attack into Woodland Realm, and they discover that... Okay, so interestingly, I didn't play Thranduil's archers. Why not? Oh, because they don't have... Oh, this is interesting. So they don't have an attack die, so I know they can't actually attack into Woodland Realm. They also don't have any Elven Rings. So I guess I'm planning on... I don't know what I'm going to do with this last Palantir. Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, I guess I can just muster... I can get Gondor towards war. I can always do that. I guess I wanted to play cards out of my hand because I have good cards. I didn't end up getting any healing. We'd expect 1 healing from it. I got 0, so be it. They play New Power is Rising, obviously a great card. And then now I decide to play Thranduil's Archers. Okay, so I was just stalling to just not give them information. All right. And then I redraw another Scouts, which is nice. All right. Axe and Bow and Kindred of Glorfindel. I get rid of Scouts. Spirit of Mordor. Interesting. So I guess I'm thinking... maybe they're going to come attack Rivendell. That's why I'm saying saving Kindred of Glorfindel. Or I'm just anticipating actual attacks in these strongholds, and therefore I should have a playable combat card, and advantageous position is better than a second Scouts because I already have 1 Scouts. It's a little weird to me that I got rid of Spirit of Mordor instead of Grimbjorn because Carrick is already captured. So I think that's just a minor mistake. Better to keep Spirit of Mordor, which is theoretically playable as a card, which Grimbjorn is not. Okay. They roll no army movement, a bunch of Palantirs, and I get a bunch of musters. Yeah, this is okay for me. Can they do things like, I guess they have Candles of Corpses, they have Grand, they have Fighting Uruk-hai. They didn't bring there is no um, location where they can play Fighting Uruk-hai, but all right. So I start by moving because there's no Nazgul on the Fellowship, so might as well move. And they miss. That's to be expected. And now they're attacking into Woodland Realm. I have a sizable 7 hit point army against their 10 hit point army. Like, I should definitely be able to hold this. We'll see how it goes. So they're playing Grand as a... That's interesting. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. They're playing Grand as a combat effect, so I just can't hit them back for much. They do 1 to me, and I get no hits. So they're pressing, and now they're playing a strategy card, and so now I'm going to play my strategy card. So I'm just waiting. All right, so good job saving Kindred of Glorfindel. I guess I was saving it for the combat effect. Saved me 1 hit. Look, they rolled a 5. And then they got 1 hit against me, and I got 3 hits back at them. So one thing I noticed is that I did not reduce, when I took 1 hit last round, I did not reduce an elite. I guess because I wanted to save these regulars. I wonder if that was correct. Because they're getting 1 hit now. And now am I going to go down to only 3 combat strength? No. Yeah, so now I'm taking my 1. Yeah, so I should have done it last time. And then I would have rolled 1 extra die. That's interesting. Okay. They stop. I've managed to hold Woodland Realm for now. They'll have to bring in reinforcements. I moved the Fellowship a second time. This is a 2/3, close to a 50-50 chance they're going to hit me. And they miss. So, fine. I'm continuing to make progress. I do have There's Another Way. I do have Axe and Bow. So there are things I can do to reinforce the Fellowship if I need to, but they're just making steady progress now. Attacking, more Fellowship things. Play Give It to Us, a red tile. Draw another red tile. All right, now who am I mustering? I'm mustering Rohan. So my thinking is, gotta muster somebody. Gondor does not seem to be under immediate threat. If I can buff up Rohan, that will be very nice. They muster more into Orthanc. I get Rohan 1 away from war. I move armies. And now they play Candles of Corpses. 0 hits. All right. So we would expect 1.5 there. Got 0. With Athelos, we expected 1 and got 0. So, yeah. All right. I move. Whoa. So when I moved armies last time, I moved from North Downs to Ettenmoors and from Westamnet into Helm's Deep. But now I'm moving armies into Mount Graham, this elite into Mount Graham, and a regular to North Downs. I don't know why I'm doing that. I guess maybe I'm preparing to take Angmar with this regular. Okay. I guess I didn't have much else to do. They move Nazgul around. So the fact that they had no musters this round, or very few musters, did I foresee that at the beginning of this round? I'm reviewing the game and I wasn't really thinking about it fully. I guess by mustering Rohan, I'm sort of drawing attention down there, but I did save my army musters to the very end. and they don't have rings. So they did roll one muster, and they mustered into Orthanc. So I guess a slight mistake there. You have to be aware of that. Now, they didn't. Did they use Pits? So they even had Pits of Mordor, but they were only left with a character die at that point. They had 2 character dice left. Why didn't they play Pits of Mordor? I'm just looking at the order of what happened. I mustered Rohan. They mustered in Orthanc. I mustered Rohan again. They played On They Went. And then I moved to Ettenmoors. So I guess they saved their 2 character dice. Interesting. All right. So now they have some trouble because I'm getting a stronghold for free. I'm just going to walk into it. Now I have 2 Ents. Do I get rid of one of the Ents? No, I get rid of Fear Fire Foes. Fair enough. I'm saving my 2 Ents. It does seem like there's going to be combat in Rohan, and those are very strong. I can declare the Fellowship if I want, and I go to North Ithilien. I don't know exactly why. All right. They allocate 1 eye, roll 1 more, and then I do get an army movement, and I move right into Mount Gundabad, getting 2 victory points. And now also I've moved into Ettenmoors. I guess I am thinking about taking Angmar. They muster a regular into Angmar and a regular into Barad-dûr. I'm slightly surprised by that, but all right, now I go ahead and move the Fellowship. I do want to keep making progress there. They miss. They play Pits of Mordor now. Moria, Dol Guldur, Morannon. Oh, I see. They're very low on... They don't have any regulars left. All right. They are moving from Moria into Holland, and then they're going to meet up and try and take out Rivendell, I guess, or maybe they're going over to the Shire. We'll see. I get Gondor towards war using Boromir's ability. That's definitely paying off. And as I noted, Gondor would be at war now, but there was Stormcrow played, so that was a nice play to slow down Gondor. Their army has merged up in Holland. And what is my army doing? I muster an elite into Rivendell. Okay. And then they're moving towards Rivendell and towards Umbar. And the thing is, they don't have any rings, and they are not even threatening cruel weather. So I just don't have to worry about that. I get another Elven elite in Rivendell. I have 8 hit points to their 10. I should definitely be able to hold Rivendell. They attack it anyway. And then I go ahead and play Axe and Bow because I still have Gimli and Legolas in the Fellowship, and why not? So they're attacking Rivendell. I go ahead and play Círdan's ships because I think they... Why do I play Círdan's ships? I guess I just don't have that much to reinforce Dol Amroth with. And if they empty out Umbar, I can come down and take Umbar, and then I'll be at 4 victory points. So I'm not particularly worried about Corsairs of Umbar. My charge is totally ineffective. They get 2 hits, and I get 2 hits back. At this point, I could have gotten regulars, but I just reduced an elite. That's the end of the combat because they don't have any elites. I'm happy to see Imrahil of Dol Amroth. They get hill trolls. The Fellowship has declared in Mordor with a very nicely sized hunt pool. Let's just look at that. There are 3 reds in there, so I do need to expect to make at least 6 steps. So they're allocating 3 eyes. They roll 2 more. So this is a very reasonable strategy. When your military is just going so slowly. So they're hoping if they have a bunch of eyes, I can only lose one companion per tile. So, in terms of taking casualties, so if they, for instance, if I draw an eye right now, I'll go up to 5 corruption, even if I lose Legolas. Now I will use axe and bow as well, so really only 4 corruption. But I see what they're trying to do. I get a very nice roll now because I know that Day Without Dawn is gone. I'm able to just play my Palantir dice, and that's fine. So often it can be unpleasant to roll 3 Palantirs, but in this case, I have cards that I'm happy to play. Certainly, Smeagol Helps Nice Master is fine, and also Dol Amroth. I don't know about the third one. Maybe if I had kept Spirit of Mordor, I could play it on Rivendell. Oh, sure. I'm just getting Gondor towards war. Gondor is now at war. They muster again in Orthanc. I muster in Pelargir. Okay, so because they're allocating a bunch of eyes, and because I already have a stronghold in Mount Gundabad, I can prepare, and because their military is slow, I can really threaten a very real military victory now. Just by building up a big army and then attacking wherever they're weakest. It's going to be hard for them to defend all of these strongholds in Mordor plus Dol Guldur. So it's a little tough for them. They attack fords. I did save my scouts for this moment, so that's good. I go to Westamnet just to cause trouble because I'm going to be able to muster into Helm's Deep. All right, so I muster into Helm's Deep. They attack Helm's Deep. They leave one regular in Fords of Isen, which is very important because otherwise this regular could just move it potentially with a ring into Fords of Isen and then walk into Orthanc. So leaving this regular here makes a lot of sense. I do play my Ents now because it's always nice to kill Saruman. And I get rid of Ent's Rage, valuing that slightly less than Nameless Wood, because I feel like Nameless Wood can really turn the tide of some combats. And I decide to hold There Is Another Way for no good reason. I guess I'm thinking at some point in the future, I may hit some red tiles and I may have to move a bunch of times. I may not be able to get a military victory. So I'm just going to save it. I don't really need the healing right now. And in fact, I kind of want to be above 3 corruption if I end up taking corruption because I don't want to be super vulnerable to Mortal Wound. Yes, the hunt pool is pretty good. There are a lot of grays in here. But if you hit with 3 red tiles, like you could definitely hit a couple of them and that can really warp the game. So I think I'm just playing it cautiously here. Maybe it's overly cautious, but I have enough dice. I'm worried. The way that I'm going to lose this game is really bad run up Mordor. And that's a good way to start a bad run up Mordor. All right. So I end up losing Axe and Bow. I lose Legolas and I take 2 corruption and now I'm revealed. I don't love 5 reveal from an eye, but I probably prefer that than a red tile. I don't know. It's hard to say. All right. Have I drawn my character card? Oh, I drew my 3rd Ent. And oh, right. And they're noting that they can't play Fighting Uruk-hai because Saruman is dead. So that's sad for them. No character dice rolled and no eyes. So they shifted strategy slightly to allocate fewer eyes because there's 1 less eye in the pool because it just got drawn and because I'm revealed. So the speed at which I can move this round is probably a bit slower. And nice for them, I only rolled 1 movement, which is just going to be to hide. Um, I draw a weird. I draw a character card as my first action. Oh, right, right. So normally, when the fellowship is revealed, you have to worry about Shadow doing nasty things to them, like a lot of different cards, Morgul Wound or Breaking of the Fellowship, a bunch of things. But because they literally rolled no character dice and no Palantirs, I don't actually have to worry about that. They can't play those cards, so I can do other things first. I am gonna hide with the Will of the West, um, and because they played Day Without Dawn, I can also wait on this. So the sequencing, if you are aware of the options, you can often do some optimal things. Why am I drawing character cards? I don't know. What else am I going to do with my Palantir? I want to get to Mithril Coat and Sting. I want to get to Bilbo's Song. I want to get to more blue tiles. All right. They attack Helm's Deep. They played a strategy card, so I played this Ent. Maybe that was the wrong choice, but all right. They get one hit, and I get 3 hits. Very nice. And then we come to kill for 2 hits. Fair. And then they press. A little risky because I do have maybe some Ents, but I guess we'll see. And then they play a strategy card, and I play Nameless Wood. So this is the sort of situation. I don't remember. I have no idea what I actually roll and what's going to happen next. But this is exactly the situation that cards like Nameless Wood or No Quarter can really, or Sudden Strike can really turn things around. So we'll see what happens. Are they going to take some hits? They're going to take 2 hits. And let's see what happens. 3 hits. Okay, so nice for them. That's fair. We'd expect 2.5, and they got 3. I still have somebody living. Let's see what I get. I get a total of 5 hits against them. 5 is a lot of hits. And now they're left with just that. So I start mustering now in Rohan, and what are they going to do here? Like, they definitely want to take Helm's Deep, but I can also threaten like military victory stuff. So they muster in Orthanc. I muster again in Westamnet. And now now I can potentially attack in and get some hits. I was tempted to maybe attack with I do have Help Unlooked For here. I was a little tempted to attack in and just try and get the 2 hits to kill the Witch King, but I think I'm happy to just use those dice to muster. They muster again in Orthanc, and now I play Help Unlooked For. I guess I need to save this Will of the West to hide the Fellowship. Like, I don't want to get too distracted with all this military shenanigans, and there's a chance for me to get 2 hits here. If I had Valor or something like that, that'd be pretty great, but I don't. I'm attacking Helm's Deep. I'm not playing a card. I need 2 hits. We'd expect 1 hit on 3 dice on 5s because they're each 1/3. So 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 is 1 hit. Unlikely to get 2 hits. And they get to roll 1 less because I have that regular in Helm's Deep. They're playing a character card. All right, so Dread and Despair keeps them alive guaranteed. I do get my 1 hit. They get no... Okay, that was too many dice. They were only supposed to roll 1 die, but whatever. They don't hit me anyway. And now, if I don't press, the Witch King can't retreat. But I think I do want to press because I want to shore up Helm's Deep. So they retreat, and now look at this beautiful army in Helm's Deep. So, way to go, Ents. Ents were absolutely the star of the show in Rohan and Isengard. And when you get 6 dice, you can do things like this militarily while also still making progress with the Fellowship. I'm making slow progress with the Fellowship, but that's my plan. I want to go slowly and minimize my corruption. Now, when they only have one eye, I probably would have wanted to move twice, but that's not what I rolled. Okay, they muster more in Orthanc. They muster more in Orthanc. They now move into Forts of Isen. Now, this is a 10 hit point army against a 6 hit point army. Not the best chances. Now, if I had a way to get Gandalf into this army in Helm's Deep, I would be really tempted to do that. But unfortunately, I'd have to spend a ring to do that. And I really like that Shadow doesn't have any rings. If I am spending a ring, I don't know what it's on. It's probably on movement. They decide, nope, they're going to muster in Orthanc again. Interesting. So now that's going to, so they're just mustering. They need more hit points. 12 hit points against 6 hit points is a much more reasonable bet. All right, I hide the Fellowship. Now they move armies, and then I use my ring to move because I want to continue making progress. A 3, no reveal. Obviously, I would be happier with a 2 or a 1 or probably a 0, or obviously the blue tiles. But a 3 is about average. I also honestly would have been very happy to see one of these eyes come out of the pool for only 1 damage. So maybe this is only this at this point in the game. The red tiles would obviously all be worse, but this 3 is probably the next worst. That said, I'm okay with this. I just lose Gimli, and then I use the guide ability of one of the hobbits, and the Fellowship's making progress. All right, so Helm's Deep is besieged again. Rohan is doing a good job defending. How's my reinforcement pool in Rohan? So I got all but 1 elite mustered. That's not bad. They roll a bazillion eyes again, and now I have a very flexible roll. I'm probably okay seeing those musters. I muster here in Pelargir. That's interesting. I wonder about... I mean, this is a lot of attacks, too. So, Aragorn, Boromir, and the units in Minas Tirith can basically take out any stronghold. I mean, that's going to be a very powerful army. All right, they attack into Helm's Deep. No, they use Black Captain commands to attack into Helm's Deep. Okay. They use Dreadful Spells as a combat effect, getting only 1 hit. I get 2 hits back. They stop and redraw their card. Okay, and they got another red tile. So, the Fellowship is doing well. Reasonably well, right? But I can also win the game militarily, and look at this insane army I have. So this is a 14 hit point army with 4 leadership, including some companions with stuff like Sudden Strike. So if you go for a military strategy, and if you get Aragorn, stuff like this, it gives you options. If Shadow had gotten a bunch of attacks and only 1 eye, I probably would have just moved the Fellowship. But because there are 4 eyes and I have more dice and plenty of attacks, I can win this way. So let's see what they do. They attack into Helm's Deep. Yeah. I mean, you have to feel a little bit of red alert here, but I guess the question is, what can you do? There's just not that much you can do. They're attacking to Helm's Deep. They get 2 hits. I get 3 hits back. They use 4 for Onslaught and get 2 hits, which is what you'd expect. And I have 1 regular remaining. So I move my giant army into North Ithilien. They muster a regular into Moranon and a regular into into Barad-dûr. I attack minus Morgul. I mean, this army can certainly take out 5 regulars. That's not going to be a problem with 2 attacks. They play Hill Trolls. Okay. So now 7 hit points against 14 hit points. A little less secure. I muster into Westamnet. And now if they don't muster into muster into Orthanc, I'm going to be able to squeak in at the start of next round. So I just muster more in Rohan. There, yeah. So this is just, yeah, I mean, it's really tough for Shadow at this point. I think it's just a mistake, but hard to know exactly what to do. They're trying to take Helm's Deep. I play Mirror of Galadriel here for Heroic Death just to mess with them because the chances of them getting 1/6 are pretty decent, but the chance of getting 2 6s on 6 dice, a bit lower. But they get 2 6s. All right. Well, that's fine. That's fine. You play to the odds. But it's sort of secondary because my armies are just gonna. I'm just gonna walk into Orthanc, and then this army is gonna be able to go to Mornon or Barad-dûr. This is just bad news for Shadow. Okay. I also have Through a Day and a Night. Just many options for what to do. They have to. Did I take a corruption? Okay, so I did take a corruption, but at this point I'm going for military, and how are they going to stop me getting into Orthanc and then further taking another stronghold? They do have a ring now. They didn't have to. Did they allocate an eye? Yeah. So they allocated an eye. I wonder maybe don't allocate an eye, but yeah, it's just a tough situation. Wow. So I almost didn't roll army movement, but I did. So it's fine. And then I just get the rest attack. So that's fine. All right. So army moves into Orthanc, and then I move from Edoras to Westamnet. That's interesting. I wonder if this Mount Graham to Mount Gundabad might have been a good move. I guess we'll see. Okay. They return the Witch King to Angmar. So they're going to have to retake Orthanc and retake Mount Gundabad. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attacks. They do have 6 attacks. All right, so it's possible. They're mustering an elite in Angmar. Now they have exactly 6 attacks. I would have been slightly tempted to not go for that extra elite and just hope that I had enough, but I guess you need it. Okay, now they can't. Right? As soon as they play this, they need 1 to move to Fords of Isen, 1 to attack Orthanc, 1 to take Orthanc, 1, 2, 3 to retake Orthanc, and then 1 into Mount Graham, 1 into Mount Gundabad, 1 to attack. So as soon as this happens, I know that it's impossible for them to retake 2 strongholds. They can only retake 1. And I'm going to send Aragorn to go take some other stronghold. Whoa, I'm going to move the Fellowship. I have no idea what's going on in this game. All right, so why do that? I guess there's only 1 eye, so I'm like, I guess I'll see what happens. I don't need that many attacks to take out Moranon, right? 1, 2, 3. I only need 3 attacks to take out Moranon or Barad-dûr, so might as well see what happens. I'm not even using there is another. Oh, I can't use there is another way yet. Okay, all right. So fine. So a red tile. That's fair. Like they should get a red tile. I get revealed. I lose the Hobbit. Gollum shows up, and now Mount Graham gets attacked. They're playing a card. They cycle Palantir of Orthanc. I get 1 hit. They get none. Yeah, so maybe when I move from Edoras to Westamnet, I should have moved from Mount Graham here. But it actually, by doing this, it actually cost them a die by leaving it there, which is actually maybe the proper, deeper strategy. All right, and now, yeah, so I just attack into Gorgoroth. So this is what I was talking about, the 2 different ways of winning. Had I had a very pleasant movement, Like any of these like ones or zeros or any of the blues or even a two, like I could have just kept moving. I'm attacking Gorgoroth. I don't think I need to play a card here. Maybe I play a card because I just have so many. I go ahead and play Sudden Strike just to avoid taking counterattacks. And because these hit on fives, it's the most effective way of playing it. Um, and the card effect is Challenge of the King. And I'm literally marching into Mordor. And I get 3 hits. So that's pretty good. I leave one regular because what that does is it means that Shadow has to attack out of Minas Morgul as an action, freeing themselves from the siege. Then, after that action, then I get to attack whichever is the weakest location. Then they follow me to Gorgoroth. Then I can take the stronghold. So leaving this one regular behind is important. Otherwise, they can attack me immediately. Now, do I really mind that? Because if they're fighting 7 hit points against my large number, it's probably fine for me. But okay, they attack into Mount Gundabad. I go into siege, and then they concede. Yeah, it just went really badly. So they concede. And then they say, if you want to finish, you can. And my attitude on concessions, and maybe this just comes from my background in chess, is it's totally fine to concede. If you're not having fun and if you have no chances of winning, then concede. In War of the Ring, there's always a chance until the game is over, until they have 10 victory points, or until they have 4 victory points, or until the ring is destroyed. Usually there's, not always, but almost always, there's some chance that like there could be insane rolls, like roll all Palantirs and then, roll all ones on combat or something like that. So anyway, I don't care either way, but I guess they want to finish. So, or they're offering for me to finish, which is fine with me. So I attack Moranon. They attack Mount Gundabad. They get 1 hit. And then they manage to retake Mount Gundabad, and then I attack Moranon. They play Swarm of Bats against my Confusion. I still get 1 hit. They get 1 hit back. I press. I get 1 hit normally, and then that's the end of the game. Yep. So, yeah, if they had devoted all of their effort to just like send this army out from Helm's Deep to retake Orthanc, which now that I'm thinking about it more deeply, another reason to move from Edoras to Westamnet is that I can just retake Helm's Deep if they completely vacate it. Like, if they had spent their entire turn just retaking Orthanc and retaking Mount Gundabad, I would have probably just made progress with the Fellowship. I have there as another way. So, all right, that was the game. Free People military victory. Unlikely, but I also had real options with the Fellowship too. Just did not go well for Shadow. Here are the results. Interesting. I was pretty low on... Oh, you know what? I bet these are swapped. I don't know why sometimes the replay system swaps it, but I'm guessing this is Shadow because look at, they rolled more combat dice than me. Pretty bad odds there. And yeah, I had good action dice. They had reasonable action dice, but it was very clumpy. I move on to the next round. Hope you enjoyed the game. Have a good rest of the day.